Before you do anything, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification button. That'll inform you I'm out here. And now, it was in the late 1960s, actually. Network television was dominated by the TV westerns. And this trend went on from the 50s right into the 70s. I've lost count to how many westerns there were. As a matter of fact, every so often I'll come up with a title that I haven't heard of in decades. I think it was mid-1960s, a rogue producer came on the scene by the name of Irwin Allen. Now, to know Irwin Allen, the guy had the personality of a tree stump and a personality to match. To say that he was cheap was a big understatement. But in the days of the westerns, he went totally left field. He wanted to stop producing science fictions. And among them were titles like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Lost in Space, Time Tunnel, and Land of the Giants. Which was crazy, but actually it wasn't. The space program was getting underway, and the interest in science fiction, the possibilities of what was out there, was beginning to grow. As a matter of fact, I was working with a J.W. Elder at the time, and we were conversing about this. Guy Williams, who gained notoriety for playing Zorro, had tried out for the lead role in Lost in Space, which, as it was, turned out to be the career suicide. He actually even turned down a role in Bonanza for Lost in Space. And we were both had the same reaction, but this was Zorro. Well, after a few seasons, Allen made a very bad business decision which cost him. Within one stroke of the pen, all of his shows were canceled. That was okay. By the 1970s, Allen had gone from producing on television to producing on the big screen. Now, in the 1970s, there was no shortage of disaster films. If there was a potential disaster, there would be a movie produced about it. I mean, there was like the Towering Inferno, Earthquake, Tidal Wave, and so on and so on and so on. In 1971, I was caught in a hurricane at sea. The fact that this boat did not go down with these swells, just to this day amazes me. But my fascination for boats and for the ocean was set right there. A year later, a movie Allen produced, the Poseidon Adventure, had hit the theaters. And that was a must-see for me. For those of you who are familiar or not familiar with the picture, the SS Poseidon was an aging cruise vessel that was on its final voyage from, I believe it was New York to Athens. If I get some of my facts wrong, forgive me, it's been many decades since I've seen this movie. But like I said, it was on its final voyage. Now, it was New Year's Eve when they were in the Mediterranean. So all the bulk of the passengers were partying in the ballroom while the captain and crew were on the bridge. And they noticed this very large blip coming towards the ship. Okay, now if this was reality, I think that any good captain would have changed course to go around this blip. As it was, they stayed on course until they had got a visual with a pair of binoculars. What they saw was a very large 150-foot wall of water heading towards the ship. Now, in reality, the best way at this point to ride it was to go head on into it, bow first. But the captain chose to hit hard on the port side, which he did. which brought the tidal wave crashing into the side of the vessel. Well, obviously, we all know what happened. The vessel was tipped over and eventually capsized. Now, Berwin Allen was phenomenal at theatrics when it come to disaster scenes. You had bodies flying all over the place, tables, chairs, and so on and so on and so on. Now, eventually, as the ship was capsized, all the passengers were like all flustered and things. They eventually got their composure back and assessed the situation. The ship's purser was in the ballroom with the passengers, and he told everybody, stay calm, the captain and crew will be here to help us shortly. Well, Gene Hackman was playing this very rebellious preacher in the movie, and he pulled his head out of the box and started assessing the situation for himself. Okay, now the bridge is on top of the ship, but now since they were capsized, the bridge was now below, underneath the water. Now, it didn't take a genius to figure out that since the bridge was now under the water, that there probably wasn't a crew left. I mean, granted, when you batten down the hatches, it would be airtight, but ships are not designed to be submarines. So, this rebellious preacher started thinking, it's like, okay, the bridge is probably flooded. The captain and crew are no doubt dead, which also meant that since the bridge was flooded, that the water was still coming in. Now he's trying to appeal to the purser and the bulk of the passengers that this ship was sinking, and the only way to escape the water was to go up to the bottom of the boat, even so, the chances of survival were slim, but they had better chances of escaping the water by going up than they would by sitting there. As it was, because the purser was part of the crew, the bulk of the passengers opted to stay in the ballroom and wait for help that was never going to come. Okay, now, a purser basically is an administrator. He handles the figures. He is definitely not a seaman. A few of the passengers listened to this rebellious preacher and said, he's right, this ship is sinking. They opted to climb up an upside-down Christmas tree and begin to make their trek to the bottom of the ship. As it was, those passengers who stayed in the ballroom with the purser end up drowning because the water flooded in shortly thereafter. Jehovah's Witnesses, if you hadn't noticed, your organization has not been hit by one tidal wave. It has been hit by many tidal waves. And much like that purser who told those passengers, stay put, help is coming. What has been the message from your governing body over the last few years? I mean, now is not the time to leave. Was that the name of last year's convention? Or don't leave now. Be courageous. What they're telling you is stay put. Stay put. For what? Guys, take a look around you. Okay, there are things happening in your organization that have never happened before. Okay, I know you like to make comparisons of your organization being the modern day Noah's Ark, but your organization is taking on water. And you are listening to men that last February admitted they're not inspired. So why are they telling you this? Because Watchtower needs you. Okay? They need you more than you need them. Okay? You were the free money. Okay? You were the donations. But since many have left, those donations are petering out. There's not much money left. But they would love to hold on to what they have for now. They have nothing for you guys. This organization is sinking, and it's sinking fast. You've been lied to, okay? And many of you are seeing it, okay? There is a scripture in Psalm 118 at stanza 8 where it starts, "It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes." Guys, you are putting all of your confidence in your governing body. Okay? And you are being lied to, telling you to stay put. For what, guys? What are they telling you? Do they really care about you? Okay, look what's going on in the Russian Federation right now. You've got brothers and sisters over there that are being arrested, beaten, but you're barely hearing about that. What are you hearing? You're hearing about the seized property. Why do they have so much interest in the property if you're that close to the end? It'll be yours anyways after Armageddon, but they don't believe their own teachings. Their property is their main concern. But I want to read one more scripture in Proverbs 14, starting at verse 12. And keep this on your mind, guys. There is a way that seems right to man, but its end is the ways of death. Guys, I don't know how many of you have ever seen a large vessel sink. But if you are on it or anywhere near it, you get pulled under with it. And guys, your organization is sinking fast. Heed the warning and get out before it's too late. Anyways, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I just wanted to get that message out there. And I will talk to you soon. But I did want to make one mention. Somebody who goes by the name of Forever. I was commenting on Bridget Fister's video about a week ago, and I just came across a response from you, Forever. When I'm complimenting somebody on their singing ability, of which she has incredible talent, your response to me made absolutely no sense, and it told me that the concept of the video, the content, you were totally unaware of. I think you just heard the title and went right to the comment section, but your comment made you look very, very foolish. That's all I'm going to say on that. Anyways, guys, leave your comment below, and thanks for stopping by. And I do want to thank my subscribers. And I will be talking to you soon, guys. You have a good day.